Okay, so again, a lot of these we've kind of seen previously, specifically inserting size and move online pictures. We've done that. We've done modified pictures, shapes, borders, and effects. We've done that in Word. Inserting size, or sorry, insert size and move shapes. We've done some of that with Microsoft Word. Inserting or adding text and inserting text boxes. Again, we've pretty much done that in Word. 7 is kind of new, but we have worked with Smart Art previously. And then we've also been able to modify the layouts, colors, and styles. Only thing that's a little bit different here is that we'll be adding, we can add video files, apply video styles, and adjust videos, adding gradients and things with grouping, just in order to help you make like a little bit more of a professional looking presentation. So in order to go ahead and get started, I'm just going to go ahead and open a blank PowerPoint, which I've already done here, right? And just kind of go through some of these. So skill 1 right away is insert slides from other presentations. If you are on the Home tab here, you can actually go under this Reuse Slides button. And again, I'm using PowerPoint 2019 at home, so it will look a little bit different on your screen, but it should be pretty much the same. Here you can see I have all of these different files that are found in the Chapter 3 folder. So say, let's say I want to go to Aspen Falls business permits. I can actually click Choose Content, and now it'll open up, and you can actually see all of the individual slides. So say I wanted to go ahead and bring in the contact slide, and let's say the meeting information slide. So I can really easily just go ahead and start inserting these from different previous PowerPoints. So there's really no point in like kind of repurposing or recreating the wheel here. One thing that you can do, another way to do this is if you click the open in PowerPoint, or you can even just open another PowerPoint, which is fine. But what you can do in here then is say you want to go ahead and copy this. I'm just going to do my Control-C, close out. Now when I go into here, I can paste. Oh, why didn't that copy? All right, one more time. All right, so I can copy this slide. I can go into here, and now I can paste it. I can either use the destination theme. I can keep the source formatting so that it will create or use the theme from the previous one, or I can bring it in as a picture. So I'm going to go ahead and keep the source formatting just so you can see what this looks like. So again, nothing that we really haven't previously done within some of our previous units as well. It's just another way of being able to do this. Skill number 2 is insert size and move online pictures. Again, if you go up to insert, here's your pictures. You can choose online pictures. So if we go ahead and open up Bing here, let's say we'll look for a handshake. Right, so we can go ahead and bring in this handshake picture. When we bring it in, right, it'll open up our picture format up across the top, like previous in Word. Again, if we need to recolor it, we can colorize it. Let me go ahead and close this one out. We can change the transparency of it. So if we want it to be a little bit more opaque in the background, we want to add our border styles, we can do that. So again, we have all of these different options that we can go ahead and apply to those. We can add our picture effects if we want shadows and whatnot as well. So again, same features that we saw in Microsoft Word. Shouldn't be too much different for you there. If we go ahead and bring in just shapes, again, right under the insert here, if we go under shapes, we see all of these different options and availabilities. So one thing that we could do if we wanted this to be kind of like a standalone option, we could bring in this button here, right? And it's actually got actions that we can put on it. So we could actually make this like a interactive PowerPoint to where you could actually move from slide to slide by simply clicking the buttons. We could also just go ahead and insert normal shapes. So if we bring in smiley face. If you hold shift, it scales the aspect ratio. All right, so if we want to go ahead and bring that in, we can go ahead and we can change the colors of it. We can add a shape outline. We can choose how big of a weight that outline is. Right? We can add shape effects if we want to. Boom. So now we can have a glowing smiley face. On these shapes and on all shapes, right? You can double click in them and type in text. You could also go up here to text box and you can actually draw one underneath it if you would like to. Right. So again, we can go ahead and apply some of those pretty easy. When you're working with multiple objects, and I'm going to go ahead and make a new slide here just to show you. I'm going to go ahead and change the layout of this slide. So if I click layout, and I'm just going to go ahead and make it blank. So say we have multiple objects, right? I'm going to go ahead and make my own smiley face here. And then bring in, let's see here. We'll bring in this moon. You can rotate it. All right, so if I now have multiple objects, I can actually select all of these and group them together. So if I hold down Control, when I'm selecting multiple items here, I can actually select multiple and then move them as a group. When I have them selected, I can go up here to the top, and this is your Arrange tab. So if you wanted to go ahead and place items behind other items, you can change whether they're bringing them forward or sending them backwards. With a group of these, right, we can select the grouping option and group together. And now this is one cohesive unit, right? And then we can go under our line. So if we wanted to align it horizontally, we wanted to align it in the middle, we can go ahead and do that as well. Another way that we can double check that too, if you're really into like balancing presentations and making sure that everything looks balanced, I like to turn on either the grid lines. So here you can see these little dots in the background in order to help with alignment. You can also turn on the guides, and this will show you where true center is on your PowerPoint presentation as well. Okay, so let's see here. Now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and just quick draw a rectangle to go around it. Let's go ahead and fill it with a different color. And again, I can go ahead and send this backwards. So now it's behind there as well. One thing that's new in this one here is being able to add gradients. And if we go under our fill option, we can actually go down here to gradient, and you can see there's a bunch of different options as well here. So if I wanted to add them, if I wanted to go into more gradients, I can actually go into my gradient here, and you can actually custom make them. So by dragging some of these around, you can change also then the colors, right? So if I pop in a couple of different ones here, just as an example, we'll make it really ugly so it stands out, right? So I can go ahead and add these different gradients, and then I can customize where the positioning is, right? So I have all of that. I can change linear to radial, to rectangle, to path, right? You can change your types of gradients. There are presets. So again, if you wanted to fill with patterns, you could do patterns as well, right? You could even put a picture as the background if you really wanted to, right? All right, so that's skill 6. On to skill 7 here. It's converting text to smart art. And this is a really nice feature because if you want to go ahead and change what you have into something that looks a little bit more professional. So instead of just doing like lists, right? So if we do, let me close out of some of these other menus here, just so I can show you. So if we do test, and then quest, quest, and one more quest, right? So if we have a bulleted list, they look good already. But if we want to make them look a little bit more professionally appealing, all we have to do is highlight our text here and then right click on it. We can actually go down here to convert to smart art. So depending on how your list or whatever data that you're converting is kind of formatted, you can kind of dictate maybe what it looks like. So if all of a sudden I decide to go with the vertical bullet list, here you can see it converts it automatically. If I need to, I can go in and add more. All right, so we can do set. We can go ahead and add those. And then same thing, just like we did in Microsoft Word, we can change the styles, how they look, right? We can make them 3D if we want to. We can get really creative if we want to, right? So we can have these cool effects and whatnot. In order to edit some of these two, there's this quick panel up here. If you wanted to add another shape, you could add a shape. You wanted to change where it's at, like in its positioning, you can do that here. You can also use the demotion and promotion. If you wanted to move it up, and if you wanted to move it down, you can see how that kind of functions there then too. So it is pretty helpful. I really like Smart Art. I mean, I use it for all of my presentations. It just adds like a little bit extra flair to it. Usually get compliments on it too. So it's a simple way to wow somebody on a presentation instead of just plain old text on the slide. So last up here is going to be skill 9 and 10. This is your inserting a video file and then applying video styles and adjusting videos. If you have a slide layout already, you can actually go down here. There is an insert video button in these content placeholders that you can just go ahead and click video. I don't know. I guess I'll just insert this video because it's there. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little bit larger of a file, but so here you go. So I have a video that's now inserted. Again, you can go up here to the top now, and you'll have a video format and a playback option here. So if you wanted to add color correctness, you wanted to add like a different hue, if you wanted to add a poster frame, you can actually bring one in from file and go ahead and add that. Again, you can just go ahead and put some of these presets on there. If you wanted to add video effects, it's no different than the images that we've previously worked with. It's just adding a little bit more. One thing that you should always do when you put these media items in here, like for pictures and everything too, is add this alt text. And what this is it's basically a description to anybody that may be visually impaired that's looking at your presentation. They use like text to speak software. So we'll actually kind of like transcribe and read to them images that they see on the screen. So if somebody's visually impaired, they can't see the contents of this video, their screen recorder would read this alt text to them and say something like, in my example here, like video of Super Smash Brothers Ultimate featuring Edgewood High School or something along those lines. So they may not be able to see the content, but they can at least know what the content is and get some context of what's being shown. This is really helpful if you're trying to make sure that you're, I believe it's 508 compliant, which is a national setting for the ADA. So this should be something that's always considered if you're making a presentation to where you won't be there to present. So if this is going to be a standalone presentation, you should always have alt text on everything that you do. And then if you go into your playback here, again, you can trim your video. You can add bookmarks. You can increase the volume or mute it. You can make it play full screen. So you can even add captions if you really want to. So there's a lot of complexity that you can actually do with simple video inside of PowerPoint. Let's see here. Nothing too crazy for the more skills in this chapter. You can actually save a group of pictures. So if we went ahead and went back to this shape one here and we grouped these, we can actually then save this as a picture. So smiley face. Right. So if I say that, it's now a standalone picture that if I go into here and on insert, I can bring in from here. I can go ahead and bring in just my smiley face now. Right. So there you go. Last but not least, you can actually insert screenshots from available windows. So here, if you just go under screenshot, boom. There you go. You can insert a screenshot of open windows, or you can go ahead and use your clipping effect like we've previously used, and you can actually go find where you would like to. So if I wanted to bring in today's daily agenda, boom, I can go ahead and bring that in right away, real quick and easy. A lot easier than we've previously done too. So that is chapter 3 in a nutshell. Does anybody have any comments and or questions about anything that we've covered here today?